Today we're going to be graphing simple rational functions, which is section 8.2. We know that a rational function is in the form y is equal to a over x minus h plus k. Ms. Fitz, why don't you talk about the steps to graph the asymptotes?
Okay, the first step is to draw the asymptotes. The asymptotes are two different lines. The first line is x equals h, which will be our vertical asymptote.
Up and down.
Very good. And my second one is y equals k, which will be my horizontal asymptote.
Left to right.
Thank you very much. And then step 2 is going to be to plot points to the left and to the right of the vertical asymptote. Step 3 is going to be to draw the two branches of the hyperbola so that they pass through the plotted points and approach the asymptote. So remember, asymptotes are lines that our graph will approach but not likely cross. Every general form will kind of look like this. So we'll have our vertical asymptote. Thank you very much. And our
horizontal asymptote.
Thank you very much. And then we'll just pick like probably 3 points on each side, maybe 3 here, 3 there, and then we'll graph them from there.
Could you tell me about the range and domain, Ms. Fitz? Because if we look at it, it doesn't look like the graph kind of covers everything.
That's right, it doesn't. So those asymptotes are still kind of important. Previously, it was like y is greater than k or y is less than k. For these ones, my domain, if I'm looking at the graph from left to right, it looks like I can have a value everywhere except for this line. So for my domain, it could be every value for x except when x is equal to h.
Okay, I can see that because at h it doesn't cross. Okay, and what about for the range?
Well, what do you think?
Well, if I look at the range, it doesn't look like my graph is going to cross the horizontal asymptote. So right there.
Right. So what would you write for your range?
I would say that my range, my y value can't be equal to k.
And I would absolutely agree with you.
That's good.
Yeah, that's a good thing. The other thing that I would note is for the h, we still have to switch the sign.
That's right.
Even though this was minus, notice that the x is equal to h. It's going to be the opposite sign still, as we've done countless times.
That's right, because it's a shift if it's minus to the right. And if it's like x plus h, it's going to be a shift to the left.
That's the truth. All right, I think this looks pretty easy to graph because it says that it's simple. So let's go for it, shall we?
Okay.
Graph the equation. Y equals?
Negative 2 over x minus 3 plus 1.
Very good. First thing I think that we need to do from our steps from the previous slide was to draw the asymptotes. And it said x equals h and y equals k. So for this problem, Ms. Bontempo, what's my x?
X is going to be equal to positive 3.
Good. And what's my y?
Your horizontal asymptote is going to be y is equal to 1.
Y equals 1. Very good. H and my k. So let's go ahead and draw those because I think we can. This again is my vertical line and this would be my horizontal line.
Okay.
So there's 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Remember it's an asymptote, so we're going to draw like a dashed line for it.
Sounds good because this is not actually part of my graph. It's just a guide for my graph, correct?
Correct.
Cool. Just going to make that a little bit thicker. These are great to do with highlighters, correct?
Yes.
If we have them.
Or colored pencils.
Or colored pencils. Good point, Miss Bontempo.
Look how nice you're drawing your lines.
Yeah, kind of. Not really, but that's cool too.
Remember, you need to draw your lines with a ruler.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate that reminder, especially as I just drew those awesome lines there. So, what's step 2?
Step 2, what we want to do is we want to plot points to the left and right of our asymptotes. So,
what's asymptote?
Our vertical asymptote.
All right, so this is my vertical asymptote. How many points would you say?
I would do maybe 3 for each branch.
Okay.
So 6 total.
Okay, sounds like a plan to me. So let's start with the left side first. I'm going to say left of this line would be, give me 3 numbers on this side of the line, Ms. Bontempo.
I would give you 2, 1, and 0.
You would give me 2, 1, and 0. Okay, I think I love those points. 2, 1, and 0. Great, I have x values. How do I find the y's?
You're going to plug it into the original equation to find the y values.
Okay, so for the first one, y is equal to negative 2 over x. Just kidding, instead of x, what should I write for the first one?
2.
2, very good. Just making sure you're paying attention.
Oh, I am.
Minus 3 plus 1. Okay, that's kind of sloppy. Let's clean it up for the next line. Negative 2 over 2 minus 3.
Negative 1.
Negative 1 plus 1.
So 2 plus 1 is 3.
Thank you for the help there.
Thanks.
That's 3. Let's fill in this by doing the same thing. So go ahead, because I know that you can do it, and you can even use a calculator if you need to, but plug in the values for 1 and 0, and then unpause when you are finished. Okay, so for 1, I got 2, and for 0, I got 1 and 2/3 when I plugged them in.
I got the same thing. I even put it into my calculator and went tap, 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 and I got the same answers.
Very good, Miss Hygra. So now I
Miss
have...
Bontempo.
Miss Bontempo is actually your name. Thank you very much for that correction. Now we need points for the other side of the branch. So let's see what that's going to look like.
Okay.
So I'm looking on this side. What do you think?
Maybe 4, 5, and 6, because those are closest.
Okay, because that's 3, so 4, 5, and 6. I think that's wonderful. 4, 5, and 6. So we'll plug these into this equation yet again. And what will we get for number 4 for 4?
My calculations say we're going to get negative 1.
Good, I just did it in my head. I completely agree with you. For 5?
I'm going to say 0.
I agree. And for 6?
This one's going to be a fraction, so 1/3?
1/3. I like it. And if you have a hard time plugging these values in, take your time and do it step by step, because it's, yeah, I need you to be able to plug those in. Onward. Can you tell me this also while we're just thinking about this, Miss Bontempo?
Uh-huh.
What would my domain be?
Oh, so my domain is all the x's but 3, because 3 is my vertical asymptote.
Okay. And my range?
My range is going to be all my y values but positive 1.
But 1. Okay. So I think we just need to plug these points, yes?
Yes. So let's go ahead and plot them. So we have 2, 1, 2, and then we go up 3, 1, 2, 3 right here. And then we have 1, 2, 1, and then 1, 2. Oh wait, did I I graphed it wrong.
It's okay. We're not here to judge you, Miss Bontempo. Let's
start again. So we're
you
gonna
see
go
why I gave you the pin. It's
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, these look a little bit better now. 1, 1, 2, and then we have 0, and then it's about a 1 2/3. So it's really close right here, but it's not going to be quite on the line.
That's good. I can see the branch taking place. You want to fill it in for us?
Yeah, so let's do this carefully. Remember, we're not going to cross our asymptotes, and we're going to draw our branches nice and long so we can see them.
That's awesome. Good
Don't
job.
forget your arrowheads.
Good.
Okay, so let's draw the other one. So we have 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and negative 1. Look, I graphed that one correctly.
Yes, good job.
And then 5, 0. So this one's 4. 5, 0 is right here. And then 6 and 1/3. This is going to be right here. It's not going... Oh, no. Go away. It's not going to cross our asymptote. So let's draw our branch. So it's going to go really close. And we're going to curve like this.
Very good. I love it. So when we draw these hyperbolas, it's always going to be to where one branch is on the diagonal side of the other branch. It could be in these two different areas there, but for this one, this is where it ended up landing. That is a delight. The only other thing I think we should probably do is maybe label some key points. What do you think?
Okay, that's a good idea.
All right, let's do that. This is at 1, 2, 3. Here's 4, and here's 5. Yeah, and then we keep labeling. So I think they know how to label. What do you think?
I think so
1,
too.
2, 3. All right, we'll trust them to do that. All right, onward to the next one, shall we?
Okay, so the next one. We're going to be graphing something as y is equal to ax plus b over cx plus d. So this one also has steps from before, but we have one extra step. The first thing is that we want to draw in the asymptotes. But what we need to do is we need to solve for x in our denominator, our cx plus d, and set it equal to 0.
That makes sense, because if I'm thinking about values that x cannot be, I want to find out when the denominator equals 0. So I just need to solve that equation. Great. And tell me about my horizontal asymptote.
Our horizontal asymptote is going to be the coefficients in front of our x's, so our a over c.
Okay, sounds good to me. Let's start, shall we? Oh, step 2, step 3, the same as before. So step 2 will be to plot some points to the left and to the right, and then step 3,
we want to draw in the branches of the hyperbola so they pass through the points that we plotted.
All right, I think we got this, and I think we have it within the next 4 minutes. So, first step, draw the asymptotes. Solve for 0. So 2x minus 6 equals 0. If you were to add both sides, add 6 to both sides, you would get 2x equals 6.
So x is equal to 3.
Very good. Let's go ahead and draw that.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Make sure that you draw it in. Make sure you have all your asymptotes drawn in so your graph doesn't cross them.
Yes, ma'am. And for my horizontal asymptote, y equals a over c, so a, c, so 8 over 2, which is equal to
4.
4. You said we're going to have to do a lot more work, but this wasn't that bad, huh?
No, just that extra step. But don't forget to do the extra step.
That's right. Whoa. That one's a little bit off. I don't like it.
Now it's perfect.
I don't know, perfect, but thank you. Okay, so step 2, XY table.
Yep. And the same from before, we want to choose some points to the left and to the right of our vertical asymptote.
Okay, so my vertical asymptote is actually kind of the same as before.
Okay.
So 3 numbers that are to the left of it, I would say 2, 1, and 0,
0?
again.
Yep.
Or 0, 1, 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then to the right of it, let's go ahead and go 4, 5, 6.
And 6. That sounds like a good plan.
Okay, so now, beautiful people, we are going to trust you to press pause and then tell us what your values are here. Really, press pause and then check your answers with ours. You think they're going to do it?
I hope so.
I don't think so, but we're going to do it anyways and see. Okay, so maybe you pressed unpause, maybe you didn't, I don't know. But if you did and you filled in your y values, you're going to see that these are the values that you get. And then I noticed that, hey, we have a little bit of an issue, Miss Bontempo.
I noticed that our y values, they go off the table, so maybe we should change our scaling so our graph fits.
I agree with you. And so if we do that, I think the x values are fine. So this, our
vertical asymptote.
Thank you very much. Our vertical asymptote is fine, but our horizontal one, not so much, because I need to go by 2s. So let's magically erase that, and I know you're probably really irritated right now, but
oh well.
Okay. We're going to change that now so that we're going to go by 2s instead. So if we're going by 2s and it was at 4, we're now at 2, 4.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my new asymptote. What we would love for you to do now, since you just spent some time erasing, or you are about to, after you've done that, go ahead and plot your points. When you're done and after you have drawn your graph, unpause and then check to see if what you have matches with what we have.
Great. So now check your graph against ours.
Looks good to me.
Mine looks good.
Yeah, because we did it together. So I think that's great. Check your graph, and then if you have some questions, you can come and see us at some point. But I think we did well. What do you think?
High five.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we're done, and we hope that you've enjoyed our lovely show. We're signing off. This is Miss Fitzgerald and
Miss Bontempo.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.